you doing? Thanks so much for being here. I'm Instructor Dwayne Jenkins. In today's video, we're going to be talking a little bit about the modes. In these next few videos, we're going to go through the modes, okay? This particular video, I've had a lot of questions about the modes. I've made some videos about it before, but I'll make some more because it's just something that people always seem to come up with, asking questions about, so I thought I'd make some more videos on it. And you can never really, sometimes it takes a little bit to get something down. You gotta just go over it over and over and over again for it to really sink in. So we're gonna go over it. This first video, we're gonna talk about the Ionian mode, and then every other video after that, we'll go through all 7 of them. There's 7 of them, and the reason why there's 7 of them is because of the 7 notes in the major scale. Now you wanna master your major scale because that's the foundation of all music. All the other chords and the scales and stuff come out of that. So let's say, for instance, we're gonna do this in the key of G. Okay, just to make it simple. Now your major scale is what you learn in school when you're a kid. You know, the first time you work with music, I don't know if they really do that in school anymore, but in school, when we learn school, we learn the do, re, mi, that's your major scale. So if we did it in G, it would be do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and that's your major scale, 7 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 with your other do would be the octave. So out of each one of those notes comes a mode. So in this particular video, we're just going to talk about the Ionian mode. And then next video will be the Dorian, Phrygian, so forth and so forth. So our first mode is the Ionian mode. That's basically the major scale. We're going to play it in 2 octaves. So we have it 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 4, 5. Okay, and then we're going to start here. 1. That's the second octave, okay? So it'd be 5, 2, 4, 5, 3, 5, 2, 3, as far as the frets are concerned, okay? So you can hear that's that do, re, mi played twice. This is a great finger exercise as well if you use all 4 fingers, okay? Because it allows you to get that pinky involved. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this scale, so I would highly recommend that you master it, this mode, the Ionian mode. It's a diatonic scale of 7 notes. It's the foundational framework for all of the 7 modes, and you want to be able to really know it well, okay? Because all your other scales come out of it. You just alter a few notes and you got some other scales, really widen out your perspective of what you can play over chord progressions or even create chords in them, okay? So being that we're in the key of G, there's 7 chords that we can make out of this right off the bat. Our G major, our A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, and our F sharp diminished because the 7th is diminished. So the way you make that is this is like an F sharp bar chord. Now this note here is the 3rd, so when you flatten the 3rd, you bring it down to a fret, so we're going to bring it back to here. And this is the 5th right here, so we're going to bring that back, and now we have an F sharp diminished right there. You can just tell that it just sounds strange, it sounds dark, it sounds like your redheaded stepchild. That's not really used too much in music, but it is in certain styles of music. But that's how you would create that diminished chord, is you flatten the 3rd and you flatten the 5th. So you want to make sure you know those chords, okay? Your 1, your 4, and your 5 are your majors, your 2, your 3, and your 6 are your minors, and then your 7 is diminished. So when you work with this in all the keys, what I would recommend you work with them in all your keys, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Work with them in all those keys. Know the notes in the scale, because if you know the notes in the scale, then you can know the chords that come out of that, and then you can create chord progressions and then use this scale to solo over the top of it, and it'll fit because those chords come out of that scale. So once again, we have our G major scale, the Ionian mode. And then we throw in this note here as well. So 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5. And you can also play it up here in this, up here, which I would recommend doing it as well. And really get to know that scale, and even go from the 1 to the other notes too, like 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5, 1 to 6, 1 to 7, and then of course 1 to 8. So you get that relationship between the notes, between the root note and the other notes. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8. That gives you that just good ear training. And then once you get to know where those notes are, you can alter them to make other scales as well, which we'll go into another video. But right now, we're just working with the Ionian mode. Okay, so the Ionian mode, once again, in G, and it's going to be a pattern. So once again, I've said many times in my videos, think patterns. If you think patterns, it's going to be a lot easier to learn. So once you learn this pattern here in G, you know that forward and back, then you can use that same pattern anywhere. If you're going to play, say, C major right here at the 8th fret, it's going to be the same exact pattern. I would highly recommend that you learn that pattern. Learn the Ionian mode. It's very, very important. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. And like I said, it's the foundation of your scales and your chords. And if you use a looper pedal, which some people do, a lot of people use those looper pedals, what I would recommend is come up with the chord progression. You know, you could do like a G, maybe E minor, C, D, to G. So that's just chords that are in the G major scale, and that's this mode would fit over that perfect. Just up to you to figure how you work with it. And a lot of times people ask me, how do you know what notes to play? How do you know what notes to go with what chords? A lot of it just has to go with playing. Just playing, 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 playing. And now if you know your notes and you know the chords that it's going to next, you can kind of match that. You can say, oh, he's going to E, I'll hit an E note. Mainly what you want to do is just practice. If you practice and you practice and you practice and you practice and you practice, you're going to train your ear to be able to hear where you need to go within the mode to match the chord behind it. Because sometimes you might not know what the chord progression is. If you know what the chord progression is, you say, okay, I know it's G, E minor, C, D, and you know exactly where they're going to be at a particular time in the song, then you can match that, match those notes with those chords. But sometimes you might not know what the chord progression is, and if you don't know what the chord progression is, then you're just going to have to work with your ear, train your ear to get it figured out, okay? So that's our video for today. If you have any questions, let me know. The Ionian mode, I would highly recommend you master that because it's very important. It's the major scale, it's the foundation of all the other scales. Remember the chords that come out of the scales because that's going to really help you with creating rhythm and figuring out where to play the scales out. If you have any questions, let me know. Be sure to like the channel, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave me some comments below if you have any questions about the Ionian mode. And watch for our next video that's going to talk about the next mode is the Dorian mode. Take care, keep practicing, I'll see you then.
Audio Jungle.